2018, which is video number 2815, is entitled The Trump Enigma, Liberating the Prison Planet. The Paradox Man asks, is Donald Trump actually draining the swamp as he promised in so many speeches leading up to and following his election? One of my longtime friends emailed me, quote, "So if you don't trust Trump, it means you would rather have Hillary in his place, question mark." That was the only two to pick from. How about a little support for our president, end quote. I watch quite a few videos every day and have a Vona reader read many articles I get from my review. The, quote, deep state, end quote, criminal operation that has been building the swamp for decades definitely needs draining. Its waters are murky and polluted. If the thousands of criminal indictments succeed in having primary players in the government corruption scandal brought to trial publicly, then I will know that Trump's rhetoric is backed by tangible evidence, unlike his predecessor. My friend also wrote, quote, "It is the Chimera Group, ET race, that rules this planet, and have for a very long time. They are the ones who fucked with our creation that our Creator created for us. They are the ones who went into the reincarnation process and made it so we can no longer ascend up and out of here. They have turned this school of experience and learning into a prison planet." Yes, that same friend that wrote those things that I quoted in my blurb also suggested that Donald Trump and Ivanka, I think that's her name, you say her name, are actually ETs that are on a divine mission. Now, I've never heard that before. This is yesterday was the first time that I read that particular viewpoint. I would like to believe that there is some divine intervention and perhaps some ET races of a positive nature that are trying to help humanity arise out of the prison and the corruption that we have obviously been involved with, whether we like it or not, for a long time now. I was at a meeting last night where once again they said we create our own reality. I know that is a metaphysical teaching that has been around for a long time. In other words, whatever happens in our individual lives, we're responsible for it. We can't play the role of victim. Well, I'm sorry. Humanity has been victimized. And the loving God has allowed the victimization to go on for a long time, which makes you wonder just how loving such a God is. But I also watched a video yesterday that talks about the cycles of time and how the hurts that we listen to all the time has been modified to put us out of harmony and out of synchronization with the Creator, so that the very frequencies that we are bombarded with are frequencies that keep us enslaved. Now, these ideas that I'm suggesting to you are merely ideas that have been presented, although I must say that the one article on the various hertz made a lot of sense. There was a symmetry to the 432 hertz rather than the, I think that was the number, rather than the increased frequency, which is not, it doesn't resonate within itself. It's distorted, and obviously the human race and life on planet Earth is a distortion of what could, and I hope is better, and perhaps is in store for us to actually experience. But we've got to remove the dark forces. We've got to remove this chimera group that my friend called it. We've got to remove them from power. They do not have empathy. They do not have natural human emotion. They are distorted. They are perverted. You don't have to look any further than the fact that they kill children and rape children and have been involved in pedophilia. And as I said in the previous video, they're trying to make pedophilia legal. How can sexually molesting children ever be legal or lawful? How? I mean, it doesn't even make sense to my mind, and it probably doesn't to anyone else that's fully human, or even coming into an awakening state of humanity at an individual level, I'm talking about, of course. Only those that have been totally perverted and brainwashed can buy into the rhetoric of the deep state, which is the rhetoric of Hillary Clinton, the rhetoric of the Bushes, the rhetoric of Obama. Obama promised things too. And I was hopeful. Here was a black man from Africa, not even an American citizen, that made some good promises on change we could believe in. Well, he didn't produce. So I don't trust politicians. I don't trust the structure that exists on this planet. But there are tens of thousands of indictments supposedly in the works, and one of the congressmen has already been indicted, a sitting congressman. I mean, I believe that that's what I understood from what I read. And I'd like to see that happen with Hillary and Bill and the Bushes that are still alive, including Jeb Bush, the fake governor of the criminal governor of Florida. I'd like to see this house of cards brought down. I'd like to see the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers exposed, and the people whose names I don't even know, that are in Europe mostly. But they have infiltrated the whole world with their dark agenda, their dehumanization of you and me and all of us that have natural compassion. They don't understand compassion, folks. It's obvious to me that they have been messed with, and they have tried to mess with us by changing the frequency of the very music that we listen to. It's out of harmony with nature. Just by changing it just a little bit, it ruins the symmetry, the natural symmetry of creation, and created in its place a prison planet where we all suffer, where we have to be reincarnated over and over again, and for the most part do not even know whatever we might have learned from previous lives, because we don't even remember the previous lives. I mean, reincarnation would be a wonderful thing if it would build upon itself, and if you would take into the next reincarnation what you learned from the previous lifetime or lifetimes. I want a world that makes sense. I want a world where love is the dominant thing, not fear. Fear and love are absolutely opposed to each other. We cannot fully love when we're terrified. We need to strike down the very root of terror itself and replace it with truthful compassion, loving kindness. These are principles that will transform all of us once they are instituted on